National Association of Resident Doctors strike has entered the second day despite federal government's disbursement of monies for doctors and the healthcare sector. Now, the doctors commenced an indefinite strike after several negotiations with the federal government to meet their demands failed. However, on Saturday, the government announced that it had disbursed 41 billion naira to the doctors and other health workers for salaries, allowances, and other benefits. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, said that the disbursement signifies government's commitment to improving health care services. All right, joining us to confirm the disbursement of 41 billion released to health workers is the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman. Glad to have you join us, Doctor.
Glad to be here with you this
Government
evening.
says this signifies commitment. First off, has the money been paid according to government? And if it has been paid, today is day 2 of your strike, you should stop the strike.
Thank you for starting off the conversation like this. We have an old saying in NAD that a hungry doctor is a dangerous doctor. These days, we go with the saying, a hungry and exhausted doctor is a very dangerous doctor. Now, government has made this commitment. 41 billion was released for 25-35% arrears. That has lasted for 2 years for the entire health sector. Out of this 40-something billion, probably just about 10-11 billion goes to doctors. And resident doctors make up 60% of these doctors. So we're talking about 5, 6, maybe 7 billion that came to resident doctors. That is 25-35%, 1 out of 19 issues we have with the federal government.
This is just 1 out of 19?
1 out of 19. Then we have a second issue, accoutrement allowance, for which on Thursday, and I must give credit to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, his State Minister for Finance too, Dr. Doris Anite. I think they heed the call of Mr. President of the country and the 2 issues on their table. They are working very hard to see that they clear it. That accoutrement allowance is 2.9 billion. Together, there is a non-clinical duty allowance for consultants that is 2.4. There's also about 400 million for other health workers under the platform of Johesu for COVID-19 backlog of allowances. COVID-19 is how many years ago? We're just settling it now. That's about 6 billion. But I saw somewhere 11.9 billion being mentioned to come in the next 72 hours. I don't know what the remaining is. Perhaps this is an avenue for Mr. President of the country to know that I know we talked about an extra 6 billion coming in the next 24, 48 hours, not 11.5 billion. Now, there are other issues I mentioned.
Oh, it's even higher than what you're expecting?
Yes. I don't know where
So you're kind of smelling a rat?
Well, I believe it is not for me to say.
Is it a mosquito?
It is not for me to say. It is for the Federal Ministry of Health to clarify.
But they're just stating it.
There are other issues. We have 5 colleagues who have been unjustly terminated. Now, these 5 colleagues, let me tell you today, 1 was a sitting center president when he was terminated. 1 was an immediate past chairman of the entire state. 1 was a sitting secretary of the ARD. 1 was a sitting vice president of the ARD. 1 was a sitting welfare officer of the ARD. And they were terminated. Federal government saying we are bringing 3 back to other hospitals, not to local. They have families, they are married, they have parents. They have roots in that community. You want them to live just because they served as union leaders. And then you are bringing an arbiter. We don't know what criteria he's using. We don't know what the issues are. This is just the second issue. There's our membership certificate that they described as routine government exercise. That routine exercise now decided to strip us of the specialist status that certificate gives. That same certificate, if I go to Ghana, Sierra Leone, because West African College of Physicians and Surgeons conduct those exams, is a body that spans across West Africa. I will take that certificate and Ghana will see me as a specialist in training. But Nigeria has chosen to strip that specialist status. We're talking about career progression here. Like I said at the top of the conversation, a frustrated doctor is a very dangerous doctor. We're talking about regulating work hours. We're talking about cancelling casualization. Casualization is illegal in this country. We have chief executives that put in slave-like items on locum letters that people come to sign every 2-3 months. We're talking about promotion arrears for medical officers that span from 2021. We're talking about the release of a professional allowance table. Now, let me talk about this professional allowance table. Every time Nigeria brought in a new national minimum wage. We have a collective bargaining agreement with the federal government that says if it affects the basic salary, it must affect the allowance. All those corrections never affected the allowance. We're not even taking it back 10, 15 years. We're just taking it back 7 years from 2019 till date. Now, those tables are ready. We are aware those tables are ready. For one reason or the other, release of this table has been stalled. And the CBA that is supposed to be ongoing, that has stalled, that we're now thinking may take 2, 3, 4 months, maybe even a year to complete, we're being told, wait until this CBA finishes before your professional allowance table can be released. That is an injustice that happened over a period of 7 years. You want us to wait until something that has stalled, that has not even progressed, is finished before we see our rightful entitlements. Why are we particular about the specialist status of our certificate? There's a specialist allowance that resident doctors are supposed to enjoy because we deliver specialist care.
So why was it stopped? Or?
Well, I believe at this stage I would allow the Federal Ministry of Health to come in and answer. The only plea or call I have is to the President of the country. And I must ask that he commends Mr. Wale Edun, he commends the Minister of State for Finance, because the issues on their table, they are working very hard to sort it out. In the same plea, I am asking Mr. President, he's the father of the country. I believe he heard our plea on Saturday. Let him hear this one and talk to our leaders in the Ministry of Health to do the same thing.
When we talk solutions, we also talk problems. Day 2 of the strike. What happens going forward? What should or would government do now that could provoke you to call off the strike?
I have mentioned a few things on this table right now. Clear those issues. Let's sit down. Let's have a genuine conversation geared towards solving it. Reinstate those 5. Release the professional allowance table. Ensure that specialist allowance goes to those who deserve it. Pay those promotional areas to those medical officers. Stop casualizing doctors on these so-called locum appointments all across the country. Pay house officers on time. So you do that, and these are and I have spoken to several other leaders on this. These are straightforward administrative things that cost no kobo. Unfortunately, it now looks like doctors are doing this so that money is given to them to come back to work. But from day one, we had shouted at the top of our voice that this is beyond just remuneration. Work must work for the worker. If work doesn't work for you, but only works for government, is it really worth doing?
It's useless.
You know, so
by interpretation, as I let you go, which means the strike continues.
Strike continues until our 19 points demands are sorted.
I hope that the president has heard you and that
I really do hope so.
Fast will happen.
I really do hope so.
Because I mean, patients are suffering as well.
I really do hope so. And doctors are suffering as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, apparently. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
The president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman. Thank you.